Click in the chatting box early. Terrible. It's not too bad. Hey, Luxie. That's good. Even the slurp? Terrible. Why am I doing that?
mean, I'm not sure because I did hear the slurp, but it was not the microphone, so I don't know.
Yeah. So, Luxie, I'm glad you're catching up on it. It's just like with 3 episodes of side quest style filler, it's funny. Um, that honestly you didn't miss a whole lot except this is what Pillars is like. So good to go back, that's for sure. And I discovered at the end of last stream, I discovered that oh, hey Kibble, good to see you too. Too much dialogue to really get summarized in a way that does justice. Yeah, it's all dialogue. Like, I discovered that episode 9 of our playthrough together has been lost. It didn't get exported to YouTube the way I wanted it to, like at all, and it wasn't one of the few that I successfully downloaded because I was keeping like 3 or 4 backups and then I didn't, which is annoying. Um, and Twitch doesn't record back that far for people who aren't affiliates, and I'm not an affiliate, sadly, so they didn't save it either, and that sucks. But what can you do? I'm not earning them enough money. That's why. I thought I found a way around it by putting YouTube, exporting them to YouTube, but it just didn't happen. Um, it is a shame that we lost it, but it's one of the side quest episodes, and it's a side quest episode that didn't have like the really dramatic sad side quest. It's a side quest episode that didn't include Alos as a side quest. And I don't think it's the one we hilariously killed all the Dominils. So it could be worse, is what I'm saying. Um, but it just means that, like, I'm glad that like you and Hendo were away the week the week before, and you wouldn't have been able to see that one at all because it didn't get recorded to the VODs, and that would have sucked. So really, could have been worse. I'm not too put out, is what I'm saying. It does. It's one of the other reasons that I'm half-heartedly pushing towards affiliate. There are. Oh, hey, and good to see you tonight. Half-heartedly pushing towards affiliate because we need to. I need to stream on Thursdays as well, or 2 Thursdays out of a month, and that wouldn't be too hard. I can do that. I have a game on other Thursdays, so I wouldn't be doing it every week. And I'd need to get another 25 or so follows, which I mean, I love and appreciate all the follows from all of you guys as well. But without with that barrier of the number of people following the stream, I don't feel like it's worth cutting out a couple of also Thursday nights because I'm a busy Jimbles to hit the number of days in a month requirement. But as I posted to Facebook, don't tempt me, Twitch. Don't tempt me, Twitch, because it while the draw of potentially earning money for being a content creator is not super enticing, the keeping the VODs for longer sounds pretty good. I would like that. That would be really helpful. I'd still try to export to YouTube, but it means we'd have even more time with the chat, and we love the chat. Well, it's just me talking. I do it as a let's play. Uh, And if I also picked up on Thursday nights, I'd recognize that I wouldn't be able to get everyone in the chat, all of our friends, and he'd miss out on some votes, and that would be sad, right? So I'd play another game and alternate between the two of them. Sorry, Luxy. Usually at choir. See, that's okay. I'd miss your presence. That would suck. Nice that you're going to choir though. And your holiday was lovely, but now you are trapped at home. Oh, it's 5 past. It is good to see everyone. I've got a coffee. Before I'll tab and start the game. I slipped over in the rain yesterday, which is Sunday, and landed on my side and shoulder pretty hard. So I'm on just a little bit of codeine because it's been hurting all day and I had to stay home. I just didn't want to go out in the cold. And that means I may go a little loopy, but in a fun way. We only do injuries in fun ways. It's okay, Luxy. I haven't had a ridiculous injury in a while, so it's about time for it. And I'm glad it's just like, the same arm that has the bad wrist now has a sore shoulder. We have friends who are cheering us on for solving our problems with drugs. Little scraped, maybe something inside the shoulder, but not even worth seeing a doctor about yet. And that's not just being like toxic masculinity, my body sucks kind of way. Hey, rebooting, good to see you. Not too bad. Um, I think the hardest thing is today I needed to get out of my dressing gown to attend the meeting that didn't have just my team in it. Because we had the team meeting and I was in the dressing gown very happy. And I turned on the camera right as they were saying, "It's all right. You don't have to get out of your pajamas." I was still in pajamas. Of course I was.
All right then.
And I was fine. Of course I was. But then we finally have a general goods merchant.
Hail, traveler.
And can you use the herd to heal someone? I have it here for sale. Want to have a look? Yeah, sure. No, carry some fine items. I think they're related to the stats of your kingdom as well. The prestige and security also determine what you can buy here. So I took that just as like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's a fun joke. That I was still in pajamas for the team meeting at like 10:30. Not that bad. But for the next meeting, I was meeting with people who weren't in my team, and I thought should be dressed in a little bit more than that. I don't know the Answer Connect team, and they're my second chance if I don't manage to be made permanent in my current team. Knock on wood. And so my boss is in that meeting as well. And I dial into there, and I'm wearing a jumper. Not the same jumper, an even nicer jumper than this one, if you can believe it. And I've moved my robe from behind the chair, so I look relatively professional sitting at my desk. And Lennon's in this meeting, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, James, nice to see you got out of your pajamas." Chopping on me to the Answer Connect team that I've never met. I would be so offended if the whole room didn't laugh and say, "God, I wouldn't have." Pretty good. Now, the next step, which I didn't tell everyone, and I will tell you, so it's fun to share a bit of a secret with Hiva chat. Then someone joked in the meeting, and were like, look, it's ridiculous. You don't believe him. He's still wearing pajama pants underneath the desk. And I was like, oh, really? The problem is, I absolutely were still wearing pajama pants underneath the desk. Saw right through me. But Lennon's a good guy, so I'm not at all annoyed by that. I think it's funny more than anything. Rod of Wind and Thunder. What are you currently wielding, Albert? No, you should be chuffed. I got changed for pajamas for this. Like, exactly, Emma. I could have said this meeting is very important. It's surprising why I'm doing this and being the trainer, and you're part of the training team. I'm not super sure why I'm doing it, but I will anyway, because I like you. Instead, I was the ridiculous guy who is not wearing real pants at work. Let's face it, that shouldn't be that surprising to me, right? This Rod of Wind and Thunder is a strict upgrade for Alos. So he'll just take it. So, today, we'll do a quick recap as well. Last time, we did a bit of main questing. We did. We finished the sanitarium the week before. And, well, we got into the sanitarium, and it was pretty good. And then we fought out of the sanitarium last session.
Looks a little healthier than before.
And then did the Undying Heritage quest, which was pretty quick. So we met what the hell the vampire was doing. We learned the Enguissid language just perfectly ourselves, reawakened our ability to understand it. Met the Hermit of Hadrick House and spoke to her for a while, and did a side quest involving a serial killer, which was locked up. Not fun, and inspired the addition to our content warning at the beginning of the stream that said, includes murder. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It included a serial killer and it had detailed people choking. And, like, we didn't like that, but still. It's still a good time playing the game because we managed to get a little, like, some measure of justice. We weren't there in time to save everyone, but we got justice. Vengeance, really, rather than justice. And then we came back. I kind of hedged a bet a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to finish talking to Lady Webb because we want to do through Death's Gate at some point soon, and that's travel to Deerford Village. That's a little bit further afield from where we are now. That's actually where we picked up Grieving Mother. We got her real early, as I keep reiterating, because she's not supposed to have a lot of the quest text we did, but the order in which I want to get her early, because she's very important. And then we went home to Caed Nua, and we looked around for a little bit, showed off a couple of the improvements, we spoke to some of our mercenaries who just give standard lines, and we visited the Warden's Lodge to get bounties. Tonight, we're going to we're going to do some more side quests. I know, but still, it's worth it. The side quests we're going to do are go kill some bounties with this team here, with Durrits Long, because he keeps saying, travel the road with me more and I'll tell you more, and we're like, yeah, whatever. And then we're going to go deeper into the depth of Caed Nua because we're a little bit more powerful. We're 7th level, nearly 8th. And we're going to take Carter in there because we've missed Carter, and Carter's great. Yeah, current party's great. I do want Durrits around because just like, let's have a bit of priestly action and show you how it's a bit easier with him. And we've been in a bit of trouble without the healer and his protection abilities. Yeah, rebooting. Yeah, they should understand not real pants. And that's the thing. No one was like, James, you slob. They were all like, this is very funny because we've all done the same and all will do the same again, I'm sure. Like, that's good. And Luxie. Yeah. They were all in a meeting room in person, so I hope they were wearing pants. There's a... Yeah, rebooting, you're right. It also feels like, less... I've played grimmer games, like Dark Souls is set in as a world in decline, explicitly, and that just feels worse to me than here. Like, things are dire, but we know from the very beginning, the Hollowing of the Deerwood being our main quest, that something's going to happen about it, and we will be able to affect it, right? Really is a good way of thinking about it, yeah. Glad you're excited for Kana too, because I like Kana a lot. I would take Kana most of the time, except, I'm a chanter. Flame Shadows is our chanter. I swear there was one here. Margaret's Fork, Valewood, Black Meadow, and Elmthor. We're in Black Meadow, I believe. Looking for a lurker. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. As a troll, this could also be the start. Yeah, there he is.
Silmis. Me too.
Okay, let's do some combat. Now, these are bounties. They're going to be difficult, specifically. And I don't want to lean away from the fact that we could be in trouble. But that's alright. Lowering movement speed affects only enemies as well, so let's just cast it. And even if our good friend charges in, we should be okay. When it comes to high adventure, I think best example, we haven't had him in a while, this buffs us as well as damaging. So let's do a little bit and then let that go off. I think a really good marker is like, how many of you guys have played Divinity Original Sin? And especially, actually some of the other Divinities, I'm thinking of Dragon Commander, where it's really fantasy. They try not, it seems like they do try pretty hard to not explain literally anything. Magic just happens. And they use a lot, just a whole bunch of setting specific terms and terminology they just expect you to work out. I've taken a little bit of damage, but not much. Let's penalty to defense and accrue burn damage to enemies only. Yeah, let's do that. That's fantastic. Yeah, good call, Killed. Emery and I played through Divinity Original Sin 1, then 2. That was a lot of fun together. If you're very lucky, Emma will happily handle that part while I do this fight. And no, it's not a bad choice, especially if you're looking for something to do. Will with. Yeah, there you go. Cool, did it. Hey. Well, it was left. Took down the lurker and got a bunch of experience. Now we loot. Take the dweller's head. Sorry, not the lurker, the dweller's head. Get a quest item. You just take it back to the warden to get a bunch of experience. Very quick, very simple. These could be seen as a way. Skyrim Fallout 4 are kind of hard to claim as like completely finished as well, so I won't hold that against you. I still haven't even finished Skyrim either, or any of the Bethesda games, but I've ranted about that before. Let's not retread that old path. I didn't finish Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, or the interquel, for the longest time, and I pretended I did, weirdly enough. Like, I would talk to friends in other nerdy communities like I had experienced the game. Because I'd read enough. I'd read all the trivia, the plot summaries, and like cool things, and TV tropes especially. Gyakko. Gyakko seems much improved for his time out of the dungeons, though a few fading bruises linger. It's good to see you again. I don't know if I can ever really thank you enough for your help. Getting here was more exciting than I'd hoped, what with all the wolves. But Kolsch and the others have been helping me. I'll be back in the thick of it soon enough. You smile brightly, and then maybe I can return the favor, right? What is this place? It's been someone's home, I suppose. Now it's where we meet, sometimes. Kolsch said it was abandoned when we found it. It's not all that secret, is it? But I suppose it's far enough away from the hold. Tiako was one of the guys we let out of Raedric's hold. Okay. Restarted again. PoE is now replying. Just got up to pot. Yeah. Hey, good to see you, comrade. Who in the party is being useful? Honestly, Adair and Aloth are taking the top. Aloth deals a lot of damage and Adair holds people off from us, which is fantastic. Okay. Grammaphel the Wayfarer. A motley gathering stands at the crossroads. At first glance, the person at the head of the group seems more monster than man. Two large and curling horns emerge from the sides of his skull, forming a hardened carapace that is pocked like coral. Down the center, this strange shell splits, revealing the ash-grey skin of a man's face, obscured above the nose. The horns might seem a mere helmet, save that in several places you cannot tell where the flesh ends and the bone begins. From the neck down, however, this is by all appearances a human man, clad in fine armor of the same dark shade as his features. This is a death godlike. Exactly rebooting. Kibble, I would love to answer your question and will as soon as we finish this dialogue. Don't let me forget. The man smiles, revealing a long white teeth from which the gums have retracted. Despite his masked eyes, he looks unerringly in your direction. Hail, traveller, and well met. He laughs quietly. You enjoying the fresh air? He gestures to the men and women behind him, are doing much the same. I don't remember who these people are. Perception 14. You seem well armed for scholars. Oh, but we are not scriveners or aspiring priests, but rather scholars of death. Where better to witness it than the road? He laughs. These paths are not very safe. For instance, I heard tell that there are certain groups comprised of individuals, both skilled and handsome, who, depending on the monetary fortunes of strangers, will unseam these poor devils from nose to nave, and thereby send them into the next life. I think our talk is done. Kill that one slow. I want to see the life leave him.
Quit.
BP, come on, dude. The Death Godlikes are a great concept. I like how explicitly they are supposed to be the strangest looking of the godlikes. That's saying something. And explicitly, they can see through the coverings over their eyes, but you can't see their eyes. That would be unnerving, perhaps even more than some of the other godlikes. So we had a question like, what's Pathfinder Kingmaker like compared to PoE? And I am happy to answer that one because it's pretty important. I like both of them. Why are they killing you now? Clearly they're hired to kill us. I heard tell that there are some certain groups comprised of individuals both skilled and handsome who, depending on the monetary fortunes of strangers, will unseam these poor devils from nose to nave and thereby send them into the next life. They're scholars of death. Yeah, so they're assassins or they're bandits who have turned to assassination. Pathfinder Kingmaker is built on completely different. It's built on the Pathfinder First Edition rule set, and in a way that is explicitly making it clear that they're using all of the rule set, as much of it as possible, right? And that means that the game is very complex mechanically, and it expects you to have good tactics, understand what you're doing, and understand Pathfinder in a way that's hard. It is murdery thieves? Okay, maybe I'm incorrect. Let's move up a little bit and get this heal off. So, Pathfinder Kingmaker is deliberately using as much of the Pathfinder as possible, and so it goes slow. It's deliberate, and it's like if you get it wrong, you'll die, and you can load your save and work it out. And it's got a lot of suggestions on what you can do for builds and whatnot. As for the theme and tone, it is a serious game, and it's less goofy. That's for sure.
Very helpful.
Which one has the combat aspect? Well, let me turn it down then. We don't need it that much. There you go.
Dead on.
A little bit quieter. Kingmaker
Your thoughts must
is an
be
expanded version of the Paizo Adventure Path as well. We'll do this dialogue in a second. Kingmaker is an expanded version of the Paizo Adventure Path, which is like one of their best known. It was one of their first, and they've redone it a couple of times because it's just so successful. It's also what I would describe as gritty at times. It's not like you have power. One of the first things you do is like be sent into the Sodden Lands in order to lay claim and set up a kingdom. Well, first a barony and then a kingdom. So you're in charge and you have power and you make decisions on how to improve people's lot. And while there are monsters, you're actually given a number of occasions to talk through their problems and not kill them on sight, which is just good. We like that, right? We like that. And I also really appreciate the fact that it doesn't shy away from consequences, Kingmaker, and sometimes those consequences aren't seen for many hours, so that's good. I'm not really sure what much else to say. It felt Pillars of Eternity feels like more hard-targeted to hit the things I like long, really long, intense dialogue with your companions. Like think about Grieving Mother and how there's like page after page after page of dialogue and talking to her and hearing her story. The companions are slightly like more shallow. They feel more like Neverwinter Nights 2 characters or Baldur's Gate characters, where you understand the archetype they are, you get like charmed by their dialogue at times, and you're like, oh, that was cool. I like that. I liked going through your companion quest. That was a good story. Jimjid my tongue. I'm sorry, Conrad, you probably missed this a little bit. I'm on codeine because I hurt myself on Sunday. So I'm a little blurry. So I'll try and talk slower, or at least put a bit more attention onto it. And so, but they're not as deep in depth, and they're not quite as unique. But they're still really. Oh, no need to apologize. We're good. No bad happened, so it can't be yours. But they're still worth doing. Their companion quests are more about their story rather than who they are as a person. And that's about all I can say without spoilers. And I feel bad because, like, a friend, I spoiled a bit of one companion quest for Kingmaker on Sunday, and it didn't occur to me until afterwards that some people at the table, well, I've had time, is not, haven't had time to get to it because they were only made aware of the game relatively recently. So I don't want to give any more spoilers out. I feel bad enough. Anyway, it's also on the list to replay for the stream as well. So we may be doing it. Maybe after Pillars 2, right? Okay. Grammaphil the Wayfarer. As you prepare to strike a final blow, Grammaphil raises a hand. Wait. You've won the day. Mercy, traveler, I beg you. Fine, you'll spend some time in the dungeons at Caed Nua. Spend some time. I don't intend to imprison everyone forever. Grammaphil rims as you wish it then. The choices there were like prison or death. I don't like either of those, right? But you take what the game gives you.
Of course.
Rebooting. I've had a rather personal discovery. Sorry, Kibble. Maybe I should have asked everyone to vote. Yeah. Well, you deserve to unsubscribe from that shitty newsletter, that's for damn sure. And not getting any benefit out of it. Just sucks. I've come to a relatively personal discovery fairly recently. That I'm not great with mechanics and mechanical systems, even if I enjoy them. And I don't want to go through the long story because it is a relatively long story and I can tell it better in person when not on codeine. But suffice it to say that relatively recently I bought a copy of Lab online for Pathfinder 2nd Edition because I was enjoying Pathfinder 2nd Ed so much with some teams, right? With some people. It was great. But I kept... Flyer Theodore, this is the person we're hunting. I think we don't want to use Whisper of Treason on him because he's likely to resist it. Let's get this ranger. Let's get the caster if we can. And... Line digging and inflict burn damage here. Or this a good friend Alos. No, Adair will charge up there. Alos, we're going to open with your we're out abandoning missiles, which is a shame because it turned out pretty well. Let's do tentacles. Let's keep the Megs most annoying, yeah. I bought a copy of Lab to do the math for me and be something that would run a game for me when I'm like take care of the difficult parts because I'm not good at the math. And that discovery and realizing that was kind of embarrassing. I felt stupid because I've run a lot of Pathfinder first ed, and it wasn't too hard. I say, knowing that I used Imperial Lab for Pathfinder instead. And I just felt bad continually making the same mistakes.
Can't get a good shot with
And
this.
so I bought a tool to save me and help out a little bit, and it was expensive. And a friend pointed out that there was another tool they suggested that would have been okay, but it was free. So I felt really silly for making that mistake. But oh well, it turned out fairly well in the long run. The main discovery I made is that I needed a tool to enjoy a hobby of mine. And once I said that out loud, and had some friends tell me that you shouldn't feel bad for that, in the same way that I tell other people you don't need to be perfect at something to enjoy it, and you should do things you enjoy, it felt better. Exactly, rebooting. D&D Beyond is fantastic. For the same reason, it does the maths for you. And I don't think we need to be experts in the maths to enjoy the things we enjoy. Yeah. And fine plate armor, that's fantastic. DR 14. Okay, we'll have to examine to see if that's worth it at some point.
Hey.
And it's funny, comrade, because like you do some very good work with your power gaming and the setup. I see you building a character like that to make sure the setup is right. It feels very similar to building a Magic the Gathering deck. Like spending a bit of time trying to think of solutions and work through the problems that could occur and also do a cool thing. Oh, Kibbled, buy the apprentice level tier if you want to try it, and I will share a campaign with you so you can create characters and mess about. Click back the dice. You can still roll in person. Okay, we got a new quest as well. So the Morning Circle. We'll get some experience, morning gloves, whatever they are, and some copper. A secret society of animancers has been traveling around the Eastern Reach, promising to restore life to lost loved ones. Well, that's bad. They perform their rituals at clandestine meetings in various cities, never staying in one place for more than a few days. Though some spark of life appears to be restored to the bodies they revive, authorities suspect that the group is behind abductions, murders, vivisections, and other ghastly practices that appear to be required by their methods. To make matters worse, those restored to life rapidly decompose or go mad within days of their resurrection. Concerned animancers and various civic authorities are seeking help in tracking down those responsible. Okay. Necromancy or chicanery. Exactly, rebooting. This is bad. You know who's currently at Caed Nua and could use a task like this? Our good Paladin Palagina. Have fun. Brain fog's so bad, follow the new plot of a kid's TV show.
Hey.
That is awful. I've had like one day of fogged brain while I've been working, so it's not even that bad, and that wasn't much fun. We've done 2. Sly and the Dweller. Nelrend is in Elmshore and Valewood for War Chief. Elmshore. I don't know where Elmshore is. I think it's here-ish. We will take a look. Let's go to Valewood first. Peckham Palagina. Exactly. She can go deal with him. Can't get to Elmshore yet. Thank you, rebooting. Glad you're here. For many reasons, but I appreciate that a lot.
All right, then.
Construction. Still going? Don't want to miss out. 3 hours. Cool. We couldn't get up here because it required an athletics check we didn't have. Now we've got enough people who can do it. Let's do it now. Examine the wall. See the grappling hook. You give the grappling hook a few swings, momentum, and let fly, and the hook lodges easily behind a wall of stones at the upper edge of the wall. Behind a pile of stones at the upper edge of the wall. A few tugs on the rope suggest that it will stay put. Climb to the top. With the help of the rope, you make your way up the face of the wall and over the side. What do we find? Fulvano's gloves. And a scrawled letter. I do not think you will ever see this, but you are right, Fulvano. We should have journeyed south together and had been safer for it. I would tolerate all the gloating in the world if I had lived to hear it. But I put myself out of reach of the beast circling below. But I am done for all the same. I do not think I will rise again. Whoever finds this, pray for me. Perhaps in the next life, I will be a trapper of wolves. Fulvano gets around because he's an adventurer, but he also gives his stuff to people, and then they die, which is like Crangrass construction. There we go. The first few, there's a series of magic items you pick up, right, as an adventurer. Involve you pick them all up from corpses that have a particular thing, and then they suffer some sort of terrible thing. I would like the hedge maze. Just because it looks nice next to Bright Hollow.
I'm here.
I also want to see if you have bonus dexterity. Nope. You're a ranged character. You're not wearing any gloves. So we're just going to quickly put them on you, my friend. Oh yeah.
Hey.
Let's try and loot and then climb down. I think you meet Fulvano later, but I'm not certain about it. I'm down. You swing yourself over the side and pick your way down to ground level.
That's unusual.
Oh, good job, Alice. Under a loose brick, we got a magic ring. Pretty sure we'll have a ring slot on someone. Yep, you can have a deflection. Look at that. It's been an effective few days for this guy. Yeah, I have a tat for him. I have a thing to send me, comrade. Well, good. Whenever you get around to it, probably after I finish streaming, I'll look over it. So I was thinking about companion quests and how they seem to come up a lot in CRPGs and perhaps don't in other tabletop games. And I think it's because of the assumption that is where we'll find our warlord. I think it's because of how it requires pre-arrangement with a role-playing game GM and the player, of course, to say, I'm going to set up this backstory and have some sort of thing that's on my mind that I'd like someone else or the party to investigate. Doesn't lean itself well to the often freeform kind of explory way we do open world games. A lot of the time, if you're having a particular, let's launch a fireball, it'll just be so satisfying. Like, there should do it. It's when you 8 burn damage is a graze. Oh well. A lot of games like that don't lean themselves very well into the pre-arrangement of saying, I have this thing in my character, I'd like to have it sorted out. A lot of time when you're doing that, it's like done as a trait. I'm thinking specifically how Pathfinder adventure paths, a lot of them have a trait or a, this is just burn damage, they're penalty to defenses as well. There's a trait you can take that ties in well to the adventure path and themes of what that will be. And then if you, at some point, an NPC will be related to it. I'm thinking in Wrath of the Righteous it was, take this trait, and Arushale actually helped you in your past, a major NPC. And it's a way to integrate the idea of having a quest or a particular personal stake in an NPC, right? But it still doesn't feel as natural and less set up as it could. And so I actually want to suggest something I did ages ago in a game with a friend of mine called Ed. And he's a good DM, a lot of fun. And we went to town, and we leveled up by picking up the head. So now that we've done these quests, we'll go back to Caed Nua, and let's level up now. Before we finish that, let's finish the thought so I don't trail off into nowhere. You can tell the painkillers are working because I'm no longer hurting, but I'm also, foggy. So we went to town, and my character was speaking to an innkeeper, and they were gently ribbing me, and I just said on a whim, they're like, just don't treat me like that, Mum. And Ed, as GM, went, yep. And then looked at me and kind of questioningly tilted his head, and I nodded, and he went, all right, son. Well, I mean, you've been out for so long, we were surprised you came back. And suddenly we had a table of startled but interested people. Like, having it appear out of nowhere, this character connection to an NPC that wasn't planned beforehand allowed us to have the spontaneous connection between the players and the NPCs that were a bit one note because they weren't intended to be super important, and were then able to be like quite interesting, and it changed the dynamic, and it allowed the half idea of a side quest that the innkeepers had for us to be a personal quest for my character. And then the rest of the party could decide yes or no, are we going to do this? It's going to take a bit of time. Do we want blah blah blah, standard stuff. And I honestly think it's a bit of a mean thing for me to do, to throw it directly at Ed, to be like, okay, now make these one note NPCs a lot more important because they're important to this character. But it was fun to find out as we play. Like, play to find out is a big Apocalypse World watchword, and we did that together by simply having an idea and rolling with it. And I think even small connections can be built in like that. And I encourage you to think about that when you're creating your characters for tabletop games, and just speak to a GM and say, this town coming up soon, I think I'm going to be from it. And I think it doesn't hurt. It's certainly enjoyable. Sorry, there's not as a coherent thought as I'd like. I'll mull it over while we play for a bit and see if I come up with something more coherent. Let's give him some extra accuracy with sabers. He's a ruffian. Rebirding. You do that with NPCs and tell us what you want. Yeah, well, it's funny. That's why. What a way to feel more connected to the world than, like, essentially say, yeah, I am, and this is why. At least 10 points. I'm going to attribute Iron Lance. This is a line attack as well, but she's generally in melee, so it's not worth doing right away. Stealing defenses, portion damage reduction. Good idea. Never mind it. Well, that's good. It's like a backlash. Maybe you target the will defense, you get stunned. That could be useful. Extra. Yeah, let's take that. Exactly. It's good fun to just insert yourself into the world, and it feels freeing in some way too. In the same way. Invocations as well. So let's see what we can do. Paralyzed, or summons some worms. Terrified. A friendly AoE. Charm another foe, but that's 4 lines in. Restore endurance and grant immunity to frightened and terrified. That'll be very useful for, like, spoilers, but we will fight a dragon at some point, and they have big fear effects on us, so it's worth it to have some sort of way to defend against that. Can't think anything else here in classes. I don't think it's worth it. Not only that, let's take something to increase our speed with the gun. Pretty sure there's a ranged ability. Marksman may be the closest. Yeah, that'll do. Unless we use pistols, so let's take that. Also a ruffian. Party in Montans. I think about one. Oh, we know a lady doctor who can come help. Yeah, of course they do. They just spoken to one. That's great. I haven't played 7C yet, but Dead Man's Tea Party, who streams a very good game called The Council, and you can catch all of the episodes in VOD until next Sunday. It great game. A little dark at times, but very good. He keeps telling me about 7C whenever he picks up a new book and reads it, and I'm like, this is cool. I don't want to start a new game. Alice is not wearing a hat in the way he should. Like, he's got a male coif because it gives extra resolve and intellect, so it's a very good item. It's just not him. I look at it and think, oh man, Battlefield control. That'd be really useful if we were playing on anything other than easy. Uh, another cool teleport enemies and stun. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, penetrate that blast. Hello? Yes, please. Sorry, leveling up's not that particularly interesting. Oh, Dead Man, hey, good to see you. 7C seems like a lot of fun, but want to play a campaign in Genesis. I know you do. Genesis is good, so I don't blame you. More accurate, but I think let's give sneak attack to the fox. We always need you, don't you worry. Now, sadly, didn't get enough to level up completely. It's down a little bit, but we'll drop off all of those to the warden and potentially get ourselves a bonus. And then into the endless depths.
The stones and the spirits in this place have begun to heal.
Begun to heal. Those statements change over time as well, the more you rebuild the places. 16 hours. The more you rebuild the place, eventually they're like, this place looks perfect. Dead man can be summoned by many phrases.
Good day to you.
Good hunting, I hope. What can I do for you? War Chief Icklac is dead. I ought to make Valewood a little safer for a time. Here's your reward. Bunch of copper. Quite a lot. Anything else? Fly Theodule is dead. Good work. They'll be celebrating new hair mass soon enough. Here's the bounty. I took down the dweller. For the relief of the merchants, I'm sure. Here's a coin they were offering. Farewell. See, I said really super quick. You know, those bounties, go kill them, come back, problem solved. Still absolutely worth doing for that 6,000 experience per quest we just knocked out in a total of 52 minutes, including waffling about for a bit. So, Morning Circle. The secret society, known as the Morning Circle, repeatedly eluded Palagina's pursuit. As soon as Palagina discovered their latest location, they would begin the process of moving to a new town. It turned out that the Morning Circle had an extensive spy network at their disposal. Eventually, Palagina managed to capture a senior member of the group who was more than willing to give up information on her brothers and sisters. In a Rose End charnel house, Palagina and trusted soldiers of the Manham family confronted and killed most of the cult's leaders. Though some members of the group escaped, the Earl of Hellsgate, Friar Manham, was confident that their power in Adirwood was broken. Morning Gloves. Grants anger, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance on a kill. What are they? Acceptance, plus 15 endurance, -1 resolve, 10 concentration, 15 interrupt, 10% attack speed, 5 all defenses. So a bunch of stuff with slightly less resolve whenever you kill someone would go great on rogues, I think. Rebooting, that's interesting. Payson was about everything is made of monsters. Like everything is made of monsters? Whatever do you mean?
Hey.
Say,
Well
Warden,
met, friend.
do you have any new ones? He shakes his head. That's all I have on offer right now. By the time we cleared those, I had auto-receive more word of more targets. I.e., do the last bounty, you'll unlock the next tier of them, which are stronger and more dangerous and give you slightly more money. I'm worried about horror video games. I get it. I was thinking, is this a place where
Looks a little healthier than before.
everything is physically made of monsters? Because that's messed up and very cool. That's all I was thinking. Everything's made of blood. Yeah. I think that was... Sadly, no. Well, that gives you an idea. When you want to write a hack for the game, simply you say everything's made of monsters. We also had a quest to a call to court. Go back to Defiance Bay and say, hey, no, I own Caed Nua, what the hell? And we will do that when we go back. But in the meantime, let's go to the Endless Paths, huh? To have a bit of a dungeon, maybe? Yeah? A little bit of dungeoning? Sagani,
Farewell.
it's time for a brief rest. Kana's time to shine. Yeah. Kana with his blunderbuss. You have a lot of lore, which is great, but we're down a survival person because Sagani's not there. And we'll get Kana to do Paralyze. Like, definitely want him to have different. Yeah, and extra healing from that. Because they do actually stack, so we're both going to get a lot of passive healing just by having them around. Gonna take Kana to the roads of Od Nua, of course. And one doesn't sit against power at the same. Kana's a little rough. Kana's fine. Look at those teeth. I don't need any help. Got a nice hat. +1 intellect. Think we can give you more. Do we have a magic blunderbuss for you? Pistol, 300, 28, 42, 29, 40. Piercing. Think you're okay. Regular wing mace. Wish I had another blunderbuss to give you. Brigandini. You can wear heavy armor though. Give you a neat thing. Here. Haircut isn't doing him any favors? No? How about now? As always, we wish we could hide the hat. Grand mantle. Compared to off deflection 5, yeah. Well, you'll take +1. No, your hat gives you. There you go. We can take the hat off because this gives +1 intellect. There you go. Better haircut. I don't hate the hats. It's not great. Nice one perception. Funny though. Here, charge spellbind and all fortitude 18. That's very good. I'm afraid that's all we have, Connor. Needs a makeover. Hell yeah. But
Hey.
Chanter, it's a law person wielding an arquebus or some sort of. It's not an arquebus. Word for it. I said it like a minute ago. Connor, what do you wield? No, it is an arquebus. Okay. Wielding an arquebus in full plate armor. Very funny.
Hey.
Blunderbuss. Exactly. Any news to it? My lord,
My
please.
lord, you've received a letter, delivered with some urgency as it happens. I thought the messenger might swoon, poor dear. It's from Stalwart. Apparently the mayor, Renengild, has heard of your success here at Caed Nua and hopes you can be of aid to her people as well.
It's a long way for a letter.
People like you come few and far between. And in this case, I believe Renengild is correct in suggesting that your experiences here may give you an edge.
Could this mean?
It seems she's intent on gaining access to Durgan's battery. And she's offering quite the reward to anyone who can get inside.
A reward, she says, for getting into the battery. That's a reward of its own, surely.
Lawful. Durgan's battery, as in the source of Durgan's steel.
Ah, the very same. All manner of people have been trying to infiltrate the keep for years. Our own Earl was much taken with the story of the battery's fall.
Yay, we love Kana. Let's bring Kana along. Kana shush when he shouts out something useful. Gee.
There are many legends concerning the battery.
Peace.
As the Earl told it, the dwarves fought amongst themselves, each seeking to use the battery to further his or her own ambitions. Greed and cruelty brought down the battery, and now the spirits of those same dwarves roam the halls. Whatever happened, the battery has been impenetrable ever since. A shame. I don't doubt that there are great treasures still within those halls.
I do enjoy vast amounts of wealth.
Oh, just think! The greatest of the dwarven strongholds, ours to explore!
Someone's having fun with Kana.
I should mention that among those rumored to have answered Renengild's summons is a certain group I believe you may have an interest in.
Oh my.
Followers of Woodica, intent on reaching Stalwart and the battery. I do not know what they seek there, but I thought it worth mentioning, given your interest in the ruins at Defiance Bay.
We sure are.
Now that I've delivered Renengild's message, there is also a local matter of some concern, my lord.
Go on.
A mercenary band has been sighted to the northeast. I believe they mean to take Consul Hot's tower, and I don't expect the Archmage will go quietly.
No, he would not.
Consul Hot's one of the greatest wizards of our generation.
Ella fidgets and flutters, vacillating between anxiety and excitement. He appears to be at a loss for words.
The Torn Bannermen are a deadly fighting force, and Consul Hot himself has sent many travelers to their graves. I would caution you to stay clear of the region if you do travel to the White March. It is not that I doubt your courage, my lord, but Consul Hot alone boasts power of a different scale altogether to those foes you have faced thus far. Given more time, perhaps, you will match him.
Exactly, rebooting. I was going to say it at the end of the conversation, but absolutely. This part of the conversation specifically, right? Here, deadly fighting force, send them to their graves, be careful. That's because this is max level content. Yes, hint, hint, this is high level quest hint. Exactly, rebooting. Do not go here if you're not ready, because you will get owned. The White March was a DLC for like, I don't think it was even announced when the game was released, and it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. I am surprised at the quality of the writing. It's something that's not strictly necessary. Even this go talk to Torn Bannerman and figure out why they're trying to break into Consul Hort's tower, is part of a very interesting quest with a couple of questions that reflect your character's attitudes about the world. Even though it's really high content, it's supposed to be like challenging, and it is, even at max level.
If the Bannermen succeed in their efforts, I fear they may turn their attention to Caed Nua. I will keep you apprised of the situation, my lord.
We will, of course, be doing this DLC, but not right away. It is good. It's also, like, when we start the game, and since I never really played games when they're originally released, I don't remember what the start screen looks like without it. When we start the game, we've got like a wintry scene, and we've never been anywhere that cold in Pillars, right? And it's reflecting the fact that we have the White March Part 1 and 2 installed. Who is Console Horde, other than like someone Alof loves?
A famed archmage. I am given to understand that the Brackenberry Sanitarium puts much stock in his work as regards the manipulation of the soul. His spells are widely circulated.
There are a few of his spells in Albo's spell list already.
But he is poorly regarded in many circles. Some call him a madman, or else cruel and barbarous. He must be very old by now. Perhaps that is why the Torn Bannermen believe they can best him.
Do you know anything else about these mercenaries?
Little enough, I'm afraid. The Torn Bannermen are well supplied and well organized, and there are rumors that they are backed by an unknown benefactor.
Who could that be?
They have proved remarkably effective in the past, and they are certainly a threat now.
Well,
Safe travels, my lord.
bit of experience just from hearing things. That's good. It's also interesting that explicitly the steward says, "Hey, don't go here. It's dangerous." For that one, and they're making that pretty clear because the people we hear about, Torn Bannerman, very dangerous mercenary group. That's good, but crap, I fell the wayfarer. Fine place to find myself. Jailer.
Good day, stranger.
Greetings, my lord. I'm here to maintain the cells here. Should you take any prisoners in your travels, I'll make sure they are attended to as you see fit. Do you have instructions for me? What do you want done with these prisoners? I don't want to flog them. I don't want to release them just yet. Jailer is also Liam O'Brien. Exactly. Additional voices. Yeah, we're not going to be cruel for no reason. And still, like, it's not worth bringing an incredible amount of attention to it, but I think it's worth noting that it's nice once in a while to have a quest book that is explicitly like for the player. It's in the game. It's something we can do, but it is presented to us as, "Hey, don't go here. It's dangerous." And we're allowed to. We will end up going there because we're really bad at it. Cool, right? But the game itself says, "Don't go here. It is dangerous." And that sort of presentation should be something you give to your players in a tabletop game as well. The differentiation between the two allows you to signpost when a quest is going to be more difficult and they need to be more prepared. But not only that, it may help continue to build up the idea that they're not omnipotent beings that will never fail. Add texture to the world. It's not just about making them feel like they're completely, like they'll never be overcome. Realism, whatever that means. But it just shakes things up, and that's worth doing. It could also be worth taking out a hook of the game if you have one pre-written, and presenting it as like something they discover, a letter on the ground, a surprising message they overheard. You're in a tavern when you overhear someone drinking and boasting about breaking into a dungeon. I bet there are a lot of things where they've actually got 1,000 adventure hooks written out, and some of them will be like that. Even in a scenario where we had I don't remember who that is. Even in a scenario where we have a steward whose main job is to give us information and tell us what we need to do, they're relaying a quest to go investigate this thing, they took time out to say, also, don't go here. Hey there.
Cruelly shaped, not born.
And down we go. staircase. And here's the stairs down. So we're back in the Endless Paths, which is a good dungeon for us to investigate. I think we're going to have a good time just going through here. We're quite a bit stronger, and I like the difference in each floor. A great way to explore what, like, how to present challenges, even layers of a dungeon in different ways. Just go at floor 6. Let's continue our quest. And I'll remind everyone that in 25 minutes we'll have our regular break time of 8:30. We must be getting close. I can feel it in my bones. Also, the architecture has changed. We do like Tana. I think we start a fight with one of them, we'll start a fight with all.
Leave it to me!
Quick.
Or not. Separate them out and have a bit more trouble. Bit of an easier time.
Gotcha.
Fought Dargos before, quite a lot of them in the hill. Whoop. Heritage Hill. Ooh, okay, here we go. Having a bit of quantity rather than quality, huh?
This thing.
Burn damage out there. Like we've already got 4 phrases, so let's... That's a cool looking spell. Alright, let's see if we can do that.
Doing the job.
Pain for damage reduction, get it herself. Grieving Mother. We've also got 4 phrases now, so paralyze my enemy.
Sacre!
That stun will help us out quite a lot. Accuracy and might bonuses and penalties to our enemies who do the same. Bouncing missile to these skeletal fighters. I think after this we'll likely have... That was pretty good. Yeah. That was very good.
These ones. Huh?
Grieving Mother's holding her own though. Yeah, that was good. Oop, I accidentally pulled some more.
Huh?
Sacre!
Got him.
Hey, leave it to me!
There we go, pretty good.
That's
This
it.
is enjoyable. I quite like having a lot of enemies on the screen and working out tactics that way. Too bad I didn't use enough of Grieving Mother's focus. Sitting at 100. Just because it spikes up so fast when she hits. Did I don't know if we've edited the chance to set up like that. And now that it occurs to me, I don't know if I've done the same for our good friend. Nope. Yeah. Luckily, the chants don't require you to do unique phrases to get the get bonuses. You can just cycle through, and the number of phrases will give you the ability to cast
Time to see
your
and not be
invocations.
seen.
Smallish map. Skeleton.
Selmes metu.
That was a bit of a dramatic start to the song, but ended very quickly.
Seal this. Me too.
That's it!
Very helpful random proc on that.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Gotcha!
My mind.
I shall deal with this.
Get knocked down on that.
What?
I'm actually going to do something a bit dangerous. I'm going to move Alof in.
I shall deal with.
Cast
My
that.
mind feels.
That's it!
Get the reduce the damage reduction on enemies. we could do our great endurance restore on the new ability we picked up. Cool bounce of light.
Let's burn this away!
Nothing. I'm looking forward to Pillars of Eternity 2 when we get a rudimentary AI system where we'll just say, do this when I'm not paying attention. And then at my very lazy method of playing through Pillars, because again, I'm not a tactical player, we'll just be a little bit easier. We'll have it a little bit faster too.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
The sarcophagus has been pillaged, its contents removed. The skeleton within has been all but destroyed, skull cracked into several pieces. Kana, a pity. These things ought to be preserved somewhere. The library, perhaps, or... Want to play P where you don't have the brain? That's a shame. PC not have AI. Well, like, I mean, I can't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm missing somewhere obvious to set it up. But, no, I don't see it. If I remember correctly... and I'm not certain. I think the Pillars 1 port. Oh, yeah, okay. Click an individual character. That's a good idea. Tell me, do you feel any different? A little ill, perhaps? Well, I'm a little hungry. I've heard it said that the Inguithans set curses upon their bones for thieves to find. It seems the tales are false. And I am glad for it, of course. Thanks, Kana. Great. Rebooting, you've saved me. There it is. Look at that. Use press abilities. Defend. Auto attack. Aggressive. This is exactly what... Oh my god. You're incredible. Damage and aggressive use per rest. It's not super sophisticated. Manages differently. This is exactly what I was after. Incredible.
How may I help?
Your damage. Class behavior. You do support primarily, not healing.
Following your lead.
And you do support, and actually want you to be on someone. So I've got several.
Hey.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for bidding. Feels kind of silly. We've taken like 11 or 12 episodes to get to this point. Look at that! Open with the abilities. See, I remember this happening, and was a little confused as we were playing it about how it hadn't happened. How they weren't casting it, but here we go.
Beyond seek.
It looks like it's sped up a little bit too because we're using AI. And now we will occasionally just notice, oh no, they're not casting their abilities. We should probably rest some more and we'll get through these. See that? Thank you. Again. Whoa.
The work of a moment.
Perfect. The Sapphire Overseer Shield. The shield appears to be within in origin, formed of a circular piece of white and adra shaped around a sapphire gem. On the back is an engraving of a stylized eye. Yes, you are rebooting. The space above the alcove is carved with simple hieroglyphs. See, like, I remember setting up a lot of AI in other games. You can do that in Kingmaker a lot. Fairly sure you've got many tiers of different sorts of AI. But I'm happy with just having it relatively simple. Speed it up for us. Here builds protective skin. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Safeguarding 10% of crits converted to hits. Not bad, not terrible. Drafted in this person. Expedition log page. I do not believe that we will ever leave this place. I wonder if Merrick still does. It's just the two of us now, as it was when this all began. And the longer we stay, the more certain I am that it will be how it ends too. We barely escaped at Drake. I cannot help but think it must simply have not been hungry at the time. I'm called lucky, but we will have to pass it again on the way back up. I found an address. I don't think he was alive for long after that fall, but he made use of his time. Entire pool reeked of Mogul's tears. Big bastard. Always did love his poisons. That's probably the last of the expedition that came down. Security reports that the Derminal thugs will attack the stronghold in 4 days. Well, that's no good. Good thing we're already home. We don't need to frantically spend a couple of days coming home. We just need to leave this place within 4 days.
Sealed.
Get some Dargles out of the way. There's one dead on this floor.
My mind feels sharp as
It
steel.
does seem like a lot of these floors are themed in that way.
Lava will be on seek.
And man, yeah, he's much better at playing than I am. If you have a large dungeon that has only like a minor quest investigation, like hey, go here,
Of course.
figure out what's underneath your keep, I would organize floors or sections in some sort of way to give something, even like a theme, architecture, something like that, something to discover each time, so that you're not focusing solely on just the combat. The combat is good, but it always feels better when there's combat for a reason. Come back, comrade. Well, I think primarily we were shown where to find the AI system that I kind of knew existed, but didn't know where to find it and felt really silly
My
for not
mind
having
feels
it.
sharp as steel.
Rebooting showed us exactly where to get it, and now we're using more of our abilities, and I'm not defaulting to pick the same things all the time. Oh, Squid, good to see you. Yeah, tactics, thankfully.
Of course.
I'm not a thinker. Merrick. Bloody expedition log page. This piece of parchment is barely legible, having been held tightly in a bloody fist. The one clear portion of it reads, "Find the 2 remaining seals so long as we leave afterwards, as Merrick promised. Get the books and the final seal from the 4th floor and run the rest of the way out of here. We'll find some new band of fools willing to take on the endless paths. Sell them the keys to the deeper vault. Let them all have the glory. Meanwhile, we retire and live a long and quiet life. Somewhere warm, I hope. Somewhere far away from here." You didn't make it. Making the bots beep boop to your whims. Yes, please. Lost spirit. Hello? Is someone there? Oh, God, I can't see. I'm here. I cannot hear myself. How am I to tell him anything? Please, there's nothing here. Please, will I never be out of this place? You hear a gulping sob. Turn back. Come no further. The gods cannot reach us. I told him. Please, let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Task updated. Seals of the Endless Path. 2 large, heavy doors bar passage forward. In the archway above the doors are 3 small, round depressions, encircled by faded symbols. Each appears to have once contained an object, but all 3 are currently empty. Examine the left socket. At the center of the left depression is a stylized image of an eye. Bloodstone, sapphire. Examine the middle socket. At the center of the middle socket there is an elaborate engraving of a sword. And the right socket. At the center of the right socket is an engraving of a hammer. We've only got 2 seals. What marvelous craftsmanship. I don't think anyone has opened this in quite some time. Yeah, exactly right, Connor. Alos, is there anything you can learn from me? Yes, there is. Enigram's Innovating Terror, Blast of Frost, Confusion. Hell yeah. What do you have equipped? Anything you can learn from here? Add Confusion. Frost and agree. Invading terror. Hell yeah. Third seals the floor up. Easy miss if you leap in the one hole. Yeah, I think I'm actually missing one on this floor. We've got Sapphire Overseer, Stylized Eye, Engraving of Swords, a Bloodstone for Sword, and Sapphire for Eye. So let's put those in while we have it. Left is Eye, Sapphire. Right, I think center is the center is the sword. We can't open it yet. Let's see if there's not one. Even miss if you leap in the blood hole. Well, I love the blood hole.
Got him!
Oh, give us a heal, buddy. Poor Alice took a beating there. He's out of spells. This would be why. Okay, we have enough people that have abilities based entirely on. Do you have the one for further up? Whew, thankfully. I try to loot everything, rebooting, so. It would suck if I walked past it even though I was trying pretty hard. I think it's in here. I mean, I'm hoping this floor is not big. Let's go to Ranger. Let's go to Wizard. The space above the alcove is carved a simple hieroglyph.
Quickly.
Bet it's. Yep.
Quietly.
As I was saying, bet it's trapped. Yeah. And there we go! Peridot Overseer seal. Got it. Find a way to see. Simple puzzles like this, which is essentially just like match the thing to the thing. I suggest don't use in a tabletop game because, hey, there's the straight up don't do it. Just go back to the blood hole just in case. Can't do everything in one day. With 3-day path to the blood hole. Squid, you've got a good idea. Maybe you should go up to like floor 2, right? And then leap back in the hole to land in the blood pit again. We nearly died the first time, so it's got to be fun to do it multiple times. Let's have the right socket. Put the Peridot seal in. We could open it, but we're not going to. Well, level up the karma. Don't mind if I do. You're on support, so let's do that. Archivist. Luxie, you did not miss here. Yeah, it's a blood hole. Dead man, be nice to... I'd like to imagine a scenario where you have to... You buy passes worth of access to a butthole. And honestly, I would like to avoid mixing the blood hole with the butthole and avoid getting blood in the butt. Okay, we don't need to investigate this. Demonetized. Grieving Mother. So we rested, and as always, we end up with, not always, but a lot of time we get dialogue doing interesting choices after resting. Maybe access is just dinner. Grieving Mother. You find yourself back in the space inside Grieving Mother's mind. It is familiar this time, and even though you feel you have seen countless birds from this vantage point, something fills you with unease. Backstory. The sky is darkened, and the mist has risen from the forest to hem you in. You are trapped. You hear something. The sound is strange, dissonant, like warping metal. You grit your teeth against the noise, and yet as it rises, the eerie melody drives the numbness from your limbs and clears the space in the mist. Focus on the chimes. The noise resolves into a dull tone. As it resounds through your bones, you see that your hands are in motion. And once again you are drawing forth life, something warm and fragile struggling into the world. The scene feels familiar, a moment you have lived and dreamed 1,000 times before, and yet something ominous gnaws at the edges. Focus on the woman's cries or the child. Focus on the child, the movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes, clear and sharp. Yet somewhere distant, they seem echoed by something else, wails of sorrow. calling bells. It's impossible to tell through all the child force. An inexplicable sense of dread fills your soul as the child makes its journey to you, push by push. A malicious presence seems to surround you, and you lean forward to shield the child. At last, the baby emerges, wet and ruddy from its journey. A lifetime seems to have passed as a newborn moves from womb to world, and another seems to pass as you cradle the trembling child, waiting. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the chime echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you're viewing a soul from within a soul, but it is there. It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. Surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you've done many times before, and as your hands move, the dull clangor sounds, and you feel a weight hanging from your wrist. You look down and see bones, tiny and malformed, hanging from a string about your wrist. They're heavier than they should be, and as they clink together, they make a sound like funeral bells. The mother is too intent on her newborn to pay you any heed, and so you hide your wrist behind your back. She need never know, can't ever know. As you hide the bone chimes, you shiver in relief with premonition at the chill wind that suddenly sweeps the plateau. Wake up. That's something that's interesting. Fast to the butthole be named the first sex tape on OnlyFans. I like it. Good job, comrade. 4 minutes till break time, everybody. And it's a code that we're halfway through the episode and I haven't shouted out hello to everyone in the VODs. It is good. I'm glad you're here. Sincerely, I hope you're having a good time going through Pillars with us as much as we are going live. So thank you very much for joining us wherever you are in time. Let's open the door now that we've rested, had a bad dream, and have all our abilities back. You brace yourself to heave the doors open, only to find that they open readily under your hands. With a great groan and a gust of wind, the path forward is revealed. Level up endurance. Well done. We're farther in than anyone else has ever managed. Let's keep going. And it's true. Interestingly, we're now the people who've gone farthest in recent memory in the endless paths. I don't want to talk to grieving mother. I do, but I don't want to do it right before break because it'll probably take us over. That's all. Diction, accuracy bonus, sword and archivist, but we don't use either of those. And I want the healing, even though that's a significant buff. That's very cool. Let's take into Dixon, because I'm not having to remember to process myself. I need the time to process it. Weirdly enough, like, we were in Grieving Mother's mind, but she did not speak to us in any way.
If secrets whisper here,
Trapped?
I shall listen for them.
Scepter, Soulish. We finished building. 5 minutes till the hedge mage is done. Oh yeah. Oh, and Squid gave us a follow. Thanks. Appreciate that a lot. Get ourselves even closer to those 50 followers. Quest updated, calm and tired. Find Gabranas or the tablet. Kanaroo believes this is the site of Gabranas' work. Hell yeah. Rebidding, I love the upgrades too. That's why I'm so fervent that we check it every time we can. Fragments of faded and Gwithin ruins descend the length of these broken pillars. But what are these? Why were these people chained? Says Kana. I said we're further into the paths and people have got here in recent memory. What is here for Kana to discover? This is his quest. He's trying to look for a way to unite his people. What are we going to discover? I'm going to fill you with dread? Fills me with dread. Because I didn't want to hang out near the horror pit. Was the pit of blood here?
Lava. Lavaru beyond seek. That's not very
Get him.
helpful.
Come on. Stay alive. There we go. Not sure what you're doing in Malay there, my friend. Hello?
Quefe, Silmis, me too.
Well, lava should find a decent position soon, hopefully, right?
Quefe.
Way.
You're not getting through me.
They're running over quickly. We kept our There we go.
Let's go!
Break time. Okay. Let's finish this fight, so don't pause in the middle of it and forget what we're doing and how. And then we'll have a quick break.
That's it! Shock!
Everyone's Matt Mercer
Quefe.
or Liam O'Brien, who just does additional voices. I don't think he voices like any plot critical NPCs. Okay, that's it. Just have a quick save as well. No. There we go. Break time, everybody. We'll be back at 8:36. 5-minute break. Thank you very much for joining us for this pre-break time. We will have our post-break gameplay in just a little bit. At again 8:36. We'll see you then. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's pretty good. I love a quick break, 5 minutes to stand up and stretch. Uh, enjoy lying down rebidding. Thanks for joining in on chat for as long as you could. It's always nice to have you. Serafina, maybe a witch. I haven't read or watched his dark materials. I certainly know they are a pirate barbarian. No, a cipher barbarian who is a pirate in Pillars 2. Hedge mage construction completed. Loxy, did I get in trouble for saying I haven't read or watched Dark Materials? I haven't read or watched The Dark is Rising either. Disregard the movie. I think it's a series as well, like a relatively recent one from 2020 or 2021, and that one got some good reviews. I will only watch it, and just to cause you pain. Kidding. Let's have some quick improvements to Bright Willow, right? Let's fix it by the time we come back up. Make it pretty. That'd be funny. A wind prism! This dark triangular block of stone is covered in pale, undulating grooves. Sounds good. A loose brick with moonstone, a lot of money. These machines, they were making blights. That's Kana. These machines, they were making blights. With strange pedestals around depression at the top. It seems to be missing something. Poke! So these are earth blights here. I think we need to find an appropriate prism to put at the top of that. Do you think perhaps this is fiery and this is earthy? Comrade, if I'm ever that kind of boss, please remind me that I've lost my way. See how I can change. How do we use Whispering Charm on a wind blight and it works? Grieving Mother, you must be so charming. I would never dock pay from people. Not like that. Essentially for no reason at all. There are better ways to do punishment if you need punishment. It's also even funnier to say, hey comrade, you won't get dock pay. Comrade, you only work as much as you can.
Time to see and not be seen.
Look, there, above the door. Overseer Garbanos. We found it! Kana, I'm as excited as you are. Man, let's do it. You think wind blight? Well, flame and wind blight are immune to fear? No, they're not.
That's it!
For Takoa!
Hey,
Oh. Rebooting, I appreciate your assistance so much. Unlucky this will require the appropriate key. Oh no!
Alright then. I'll see what I can find.
Back there as well. Okay. Oh shit, we got lightning.
Yes?
Still remember being strictly owned by those druids. By their effective use of lightning. Filling me with terror. Grish's not going super well. Lowering speed of movement for enemies, please. Because you're about to be hit.
Queth.
Bit of a heal on us. Okay. Luckily, Grieving is taking down some enemies. Console Hort's Corrosive Siphon. May give you a bit of an idea of what Console Hort's up to. Also immune, I think. Good. Honestly, I'm glad that we're using resources to get through things, and I also did turn up the difficulty.
Me too.
Like, it's now currently normal instead of easy, because we were rolling through things a little bit easier. It's Peru! Actually, writing the combat box for CRPGs have got to be a lot of fun. Especially things like casting sounds. Lost an item, wind prism. So we put the wind prism in there. Looks like now it's helping itself out.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Those small little bits of writing. Fire prism. Well, let's go where the fire is. Do you think it's there or... I think it's over here. Writing those small combat barks or just little bits of flavor text would be so much fun as part of a game design. Like, hey writers, today what we're going to do, now that we've got the plot and major dialogue out of the way, your main job is to write thematic and vaguely interesting things for all of the characters. Go have fun! Like, hell yeah. What silly things am I going to make all the voice actors say over and over and over? Of spells and our damage dealing ally.
Not even slowing it down.
Ixmaru!
Ixmaru! Not sure if you heard Siri on my watch try and answer a question about what Ixmaru is.
Useless.
That's it.
Lovely. You've lost an item. Fire prism.
Quethe. Sealness. Me too.
Ah, got him.
Gonna let our people through. Alok's been taking a hit or 12. I don't know where they're going, but I gotta let him do it.
Gotcha.
This thing isn't doing...
Days of enemies?
Ixmaru!
Fragments of faded Ingwith and ruins descend the length of these broken pillars. The engravings remain distant? Something like that.
Quickly and quietly.
Were these experiments? Oh, I think Kana is just... Old copper key. That's what we're after. Kana is discovering something not so great. Now, Alice is pretty wounded. We're going to take a rest. No plot. That's okay. I think here for Rainblight. You ran into them around this area.
Me too.
What a guess.
This isn't working!
It's a terrible spot.
Drift!
When is Alice not pretty wounded? He's been good lately.
Lavaru, be on seek!
Just what a days, man.
Not even slowing it.
Confusing enemies. I'm scared of oozes, okay?
This thing isn't doing the
Blame
job.
the Golem King.
Roact!
Wow, that's a strong effect, whatever happened there. I think the confuse worked. Oh, hey Golem King. Why, now, why of any reason would I be scared of oozes and it be your fault, huh? Is it perhaps that you have turned a beloved character of mine into... You're always watching. Yeah, alright, true. You got me there. Is it because perhaps you've turned a beloved character of mine slowly over time into an ooze? Huh?
Ah, got him.
Lavaru, be... Rith Uligna!
Half turn. Yeah, we all know where it's going. Love those goo girls. The DC is like 43, and yes, it's Pathfinder, so like you have a better chance. Adamat,
Me too.
he's at Anguis and Hadra Adamat's in there. Flood focus the appropriate term. Oh shit, both Adair and Grieving Mother have been turned against us.
That's not very helpful.
Luckily they're using ranged weapons for whatever reason. Elf is so dead. I don't think we can just run. See if we can pull a heal out. Nah, Elf went down. Days have enemies at least, maybe?
Stand still!
Immunity to dazed and confused. See if that will help. Paralyzes enemies. Give ourselves a bit of a chance to survive a little bit longer. Let's get some regen out here.
Following your lead.
Think the AI being suboptimal. Maybe. I honestly think our front line just got wrecked by some confusion, so I don't actually blame it. Plus, Adricans, that's a Delamagan, so like a tree spirit that's made out of Adra, very dangerous.
Following your lead.
Okay. Healing out on these three. Alistair and downside, I think we're getting too far. Use your greatsword, please. Charmed again. We're in a bad way. Slam Shadows is down. Grieving's done. Kana's here. It's all the Tengi's party. No, yeah,
I'm
absolutely
stuck
not.
over here.
It's everyone but Grieving Mother
no
and
longer
Elof.
sense our merry friend.
Just Grieving Mother. Stunned, done, down.
My thoughts are scattered.
That's it.
Hard to hold on
Ouch.
to.
We're gonna have to load our save and see when the last one was. Jeez. It was. Awful lot of red, yeah. We're gonna walk into that fight a little more prepared. Maybe even. Well, we turn it up to normal difficulty and we start dying, so that's... The other fights we handle pretty okay. We rolled a little bit low. And I kind of wish... What was doing the charming? I think it was the Adrigan, because Delmguns do a charm that just bounce off it a lot of the time. So we won't let the AI decide how that fight's gonna go. We'll do it ourselves.
Backbones availeth this.
Not terrible, we know how to do it. Flame bite.
Alright. Then.
But aren't we curious about this zone anyway? Like, what's with all the Earth
Not
Lights,
getting
the
through me.
Adrigans, and other devices of sealed behind the number of seals that require several overseers? That's why we're here.
Parathis!
Quethe. Sealness. Me too.
This thing isn't doing the job.
We're getting the, like, these things take a lot of damage reduction for the weapons you're using, but I don't think it's a big deal when we've got a lot of casting going on and a lot of piercing damage from our two ranged guns. See?
This thing isn't doing the job.
Adair missing and getting resistance on a couple of fights isn't that terrible.
Hello? Hello?
Lavaru beyond seek!
We've also got quite a lot of our party that regens all their abilities every fight. Aloth sure doesn't, that's for sure. But, Adair, Grieving Mother, Slam Shadows, and Anna do right now. Kana obviously can't do it until Kana and Slam Shadows need to get through a little bit of the fight first. That hits me.
This one repels.
Leave it to me! Leave it to me!
Adragetting just here, so hopefully we're going to not get charmed. Flame Blight's on our side.
Hey.
We did get a charm off. Yeah.
Useless.
Fourth ed D&D had an explicit balance between per encounter per day. And I feel like fifth ed takes that kind of, and it does the short and long rest. But even then, you're not supposed to have a short rest between every fight, but it's still an interesting concept to explicitly say and divide out when you're going to do stuff. Oh yes! We forgot to talk to Grieving Mother. Let's do that.
Your mind comes bearing questions, Watcher.
I had questions for you. I walked again in your memories, and this time they felt strange. I would see them again. Your vision gives way to waves of feeling. While you feel the jagged marks of violence you passed before, this time the path is easier. There's no resistance, and you set about casually harnessing her memories, focusing on the one you seek. There's a slow rush, a warmth, and your thoughts enter as before, circling the memory you shared when you first met. You find yourself back in the space inside Grieving Mother's mind. It is familiar this time, and even though you feel you have seen countless birds from this vantage point, something fills you with unease. The sky's darkened, and the mist has risen from the forest to hem you in. You are trapped. You hear something. The sound is strange, dissonant, like warping metal. You grate your teeth against the noise, and yet, as it rises, the eerie melody drives numbness from your limbs and clears the space in the mist. Focus on the chimes. The noise resolves into a dull tone. As it resounds through your bones, you see that your hands are in motion. Once again, you are drawing forth life, something warm and fragile struggling into the world. The scene feels familiar, a moment you've lived and dreamed 1,000 times before. And we've dreamed it but a night ago. And yet something ominous gnaws at the edges. Focus on the woman's fingers. The woman should be in pain, the natural pain of childbirth. You know this, but it is faint, distant, and you realize that you're soothing the pain with your mind, swishing out the eddies of pain and relaxing your thoughts just enough so that she can still push from within, push the child forth. You are taking that pain onto yourself, but the pain has layers. One is pressure, a familiar, welcoming pain, and the other, it is sharp, a razor at your consciousness, more recent than this memory. And as you try to recall how you've reached this place, you feel the same hollowness inside yourself, a pit filled with the clawing winds of a bivouac. The very thought fills you with disquiet, like the memory of a nightmare. Focus on the child, movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes, clear and sharp. It's somewhat distant, they seem echoed by something else. Wails of sorrow, tolling bells, it's impossible to tell. Draw the child forth. An inexplicable sense of dread fills your soul as the child makes its journey to you, push by push. A malicious presence seems to surround you, and you lean forward to shield the child. At last, the baby emerges, wet and ruddy from its journey. A lifetime seems to have passed as the newborn moved from womb to world, and another seems to pass as you cradle the trembling child, waiting. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the chime echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you are viewing a soul from within a soul. But it is there. It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. Surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you've done many times before, and as your hands move, the dull clangor sounds, and you feel a weight hanging from your wrist. You look down and see bones, tiny and malformed, hanging from a string about your wrist. They're heavier than they should be, and as they click together, they make a noise like funeral bells. The mother is too intent on a newborn, to pay you any heed, so you hide your wrist behind your back. She need never know, can't ever know. As you hide the bone chimes, you shiver in relief, with premonition, at the chill wind that suddenly sweeps the plateau. Slowly pull back, retreat from the memory. With effort, the scene bleeds with color, and your mind becomes your own again. The grieving mother stands silently before you. She seems unaware of what you've seen, or that you've entered her memories at all. I walked again in your dreams, thoughts, and, I believe, your memories. A mixture of curiosity and fear wells up inside between you. She raises her left hand, the chiming at her wrist quelling the rise within her. She is frightened, but curiosity anchors her.
And what did you see in my memories? I would hear you speak of them.
You don't have the answer yet. Never mind, I had questions I wanted to ask you. Let your mind speak for you. I shall listen past the words. What's that you're wearing on your wrist? She extends her hands, and the small chimes on her wrist sound at the motion, just as they sounded in her memories. The chimes are finely crafted, of white adra. They are wrapped around the grieving mother's wrist with tiny woven braids of hair of different colors, from white to black, brown to blonde. I feel as if you're noticing them for the first time. If the birthing chimes were given to newborns, why do you wear a set down?
There was no child to carry it.
And suddenly there is a rasping cry across your consciousness. You feel a flinch, visibly. As if she raises her hands and you see the chimes drape from them, yet they make no sound as she moves. In your memory, they look like bones.
And carry the weight of 100 deaths. I know, Watcher.
This is about the Hollowborn, isn't it?
The Hollowborn.
The same chill you felt as before is stronger now, as if it's welling up around your feet, to your ankles. You feel a sudden urge to draw away, as if from an unpleasant memory.
The Hollowborn have a future. They can be saved, and the tells spoke of such.
How would you know? Have you seen this future?
They can be saved. They must be saved. You have seen the beauty in childbirth. What good came into the world there on the plateau. You helped me recall it. It is a memory we shared. It is the truth.
Memory, it is the truth. No more equivocation. What really happened at the birthing bell?
And what would you consider real, Watcher? The truth that was experienced and remembered? Or the one that burned out only to be swept under the rug and forgotten like ash from a fireplace?
What happened mattered. Forgetting it doesn't make it less real.
And how much of your own life has been lost to the error of memory? How many loves and betrayals were colored with the false hues of emotion? A pity to wonder how much of your own life happened the way you recall.
We should get going again. It didn't have mattered for human memory. I pressed her and she became evasive. I know there's more to the story. I may need to spend more time with her to break through the lies she's woven around us both. We're getting closer.
Yeah?
Hey.
Truth awaits us. Look, my friend, you did not need to be that close. Weirdly enough, you do. We'll pull off an intercession days.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Granting immunity to confused days. We might cut that when we do the difficult fight up there.
Fine. Let's burn this away!
Often need to do a rest soon now. I'm quite wounded. And out of spells entirely.
Quethe.
Parathis!
Deal with this one shade and we're good to go.
Shock 3, 2!
I like what we're learning with Grieving Mother. I like how
course.
striking and
My
complicated.
thoughts will be as
and
silent as my feet.
remain distant, something like that. I like that we learn more and it's stressful, and she's asking you questions about what matters if we've edited the memory and they remember it this way too. We're time to say, yeah, good call. Just did a rest as well. Can't hurt. Going up this way yet. That's where the hard fight was. I want to do that last.
Leave it to me.
Dealt with everything else. Had another
This
rest.
isn't working.
Yeah. Going through a camping supplies lot, but
Lavaru,
good,
be on
right?
seat.
It's supposed to be. A consumable we use often. Otherwise, I wouldn't put so many in the game, right? I think you can always find more from Caed Nua. If I could stop clicking and disengaging, we'd be better off.
Your tale ends here.
Lavaru, be on seek.
This is all very distracting.
No. This is all very distracting. Look there, above the door. Obviously a Glabrantos. Now that we've got the key, we may actually be able to go in there. Maybe we should do that before the really hard fight.
Nice and quiet.
Just a little bit before we potentially die.
Lavaru, be on seek.
Jeez, lightning, right?
Rip.
In the background, you may hear the cat complaining at us.
Wait.
He, like always, is after some snack.
Lavaru, be on.
Can't blame him though. I like snacks too.
That's not very helpful.
Good if not. Yeah, brief paralysis as an AoE.
Leave it to me.
Pay attention. No, it's all distracting. He's looking around at all the cool stuff while in combat. Perfectly
Alright,
viable
then.
combatant. We don't feel silly taking him into war at all.
Hey,
War. Really more dungeoneering than anything else. Dungeoneering.
Hello. Hello. Wait.
Which is hilarious. We're like, hey, everyone, stealth.
Lavaru.
Hello? Hello? Remember last time we started that fight with this? Sorry, remember last time we started this particular fight and Durance just dropped crap here, of all places?
Lavaru,
Look,
be on
we
seek.
said rudimentary AI, we got rudimentary AI. I can't imagine doing this fight without it.
My mind
Lord.
feels sharp as steel.
Don't need that. We could get paralyzed.
That's it.
Perfect, look at that.
Gotcha.
Breathe.
Love the slime folk. What do you... What do you call a non-binary slime folk? Gender fluid. Unlock with old copper key.
My eyes are peeled.
Sorry, chat. Kana. A study. Gabranis' work must be here somewhere. Oh no. A skeletal wizard? Who could that be? Straight up. Double damage, okay?
Quethe, Silmis, me too.
Oh, he's trashed. Not a chance in hell.
This was Gabranos. This was the great scholar I was looking for.
I turned on the see what gives you this response. It's not worth hiding, really. He said he controlled the elements. Well, let's go. What's left? What was left of him? I'm sure he had more flesh on him in life. And that's true, right? But why? He'd travelled everywhere. I found traces of his work on 2 separate continents. And he had his days here, doing this. Was this the source of all that knowledge? Those experiments out there? The bodies? He was one man. That doesn't mean you were wrong about the rest of it. Maybe. But I was wrong about him, for certain. I took him for an inspiration. I wanted... Never mind. Kind of size. I'd find the tablet and get out of here. Poor guy.
This can't be it. But the symbols...
Kana runs his fingers over the shattered remnants of the tablet.
So close.
Sorry. Kana runs his fingers over the shattered remnants of the tablet.
Look, you can see, there's his name. And these symbols. Virtue. Gods, the rest is too worn away. There must be something, a verse, even a word. Be like unto the waves, be wrathful as the sea, anything. Is there really nothing? Not even to explain this?
Kana looks around about the room, his shoulders slumped. He bends over the shattered fragments, pulling the largest of them together. Removing a rolled piece of paper and stick of charcoal from his pockets, he sets about forlornly making a few rubbings. Maybe you can salvage some small part of it. Isn't it enough that you found it? I'm not going to say saddest sight in a morose historian. Let's not make fun of him in his time of pain. Never be called a conic. Yeah, look, I agree, Lexi. What? This shattered mess? I might as well bring back an empty piece of parchment. Kana sighs and sets down his charcoal. He gazes down at the fragments. But it existed. Once. It was here. Whole. He runs his fingers over the stone. Maybe you're right. Hey, Pat! It has been 2 hours and 10 minutes since we started recording, and this is the first choice that's actually worth having chat do. So let's get back to voting. We have 1 to 6 options here. It's quite a lot. I would like all of you to vote on how we respond to Kana saying, maybe you're right. So, option 1. The tablet was here, and you still have the phrase you found in Ixmitil. You were right. Tell that to the Law College. And 2. But think of what we've learned. We're the first people in 2,000 years to descend this far. 3. Whatever was on that tablet, your people made the Tanvu or Toa on their own. What Gabrana thought about it doesn't matter. And 4. The Anguithans clearly destroyed themselves. You should leave their words in the past. And 5. They can stop digging around for dead Anguithans. Let's go. And 6. A little mystery is the spice of life. We got an adventure out of it. So yeah, we have a vote. 1 to 6. Choose your favorite. Let's go. I'm going to give people a little more time than normal. Only because I feel like we're going to a couple of people delayed in chat. 2 votes for 2. 2 votes for... Well, Loxy, you're making it a little difficult on us. 1 or 3, 2 also fine. 3 probably. Sounds like 3, Loxy. And that makes us 2 votes for 2. 2 votes for 1. Kind of. Nah, you don't need to apologize. It's okay. But I reserve the right to tease you a little gently, happily about it. That's all. 2, 2 votes for 3, 1 vote for 1. Seeing, comrade. Ended terribly, want 1. Ah, cool. 2 votes for 2, 2 votes for 3, 2 votes for 1. Oh, rebooting. If only you weren't lying down, you could break this tie for us. Remember, there's a tie. I get to break it too. Making an executive decision. I don't hate it. I don't know if pets get votes, everyone. If pets create accounts and follow the stream, I'll give them a vote. Oh, that's not good. I don't mind making an executive decision. I've been a playthrough twice and made my own decisions. I just want you guys to get what you want as much as possible. Not drop my wedding ring. So, yeah, that's fine. Fine with me. Oh, fuck. What have I done? I think I like the tablet was here, and you still have the phrase you found in Xmitville. You were right. Tell that to the law college. I'm going with 1. But the Inguisans aren't as I believed. I thought for certain their words would favor peace. How could I go back and tell the law chanters that we should emulate them? Kind of looks down at a pile of stone. You want to return home a failure? That's not very nice. Affiliate, yeah, I would like to be an affiliate. The tablet can still serve as a symbol, one that means peace for Rautai. Now, Gabranos is flawed. That doesn't mean you shouldn't advocate for peace. 1. Yes, but kind touches a hand to his temple, thinking, maybe. If I can at least convince him that there are other ways, even if it isn't in the Tanvi or a Taha. Let's see what I can gather out of it. Maybe something is swapped. And after that, I'll be glad to get out of this place. I have much to think about. We'll talk to you about it soon, Carter.
Hey.
Don't you worry. Quest complete. Time and tide. I'm glad
All right, then.
had to go in here to get the Earth Prism as well. Rod, vessel bone, nothing else special. Still the stones, quest expires. Upper Huilo farmers in Ixmitil Plains discover a large and elaborate ring of small pillars in the secluded southern valley. Though presumed to be connected to Inguithans in some way, the pillars do not appear to be connected to any ruins. However, since the site was discovered, farmers from up to 50 miles away have gone missing, eventually discovered days or weeks later in the ring of stones, permanently petrified. As the Apahuilo have little experience with Adripillars, they're calling on the Raid Sands, Deerwoodens, and Glenfarthens for help. I should have sent Sagani. I'm going to save, recall her, and send our good friend Herbius. He understands Glenfarthens better. Nope, you hit recall in the quest ends. This is why I saved. 15. I'm glad we chose 1, given that everyone voted for that one. It's pretty important. Yeah. Bookcase. Unique wand. Freezing lash. Inflicts minus accuracy.
Yes?
Weirdly enough, the wand goes pretty well on Kana. It's not quite as much damage, but I think it's just funny to have a skull that's holding a blunderbuss. So we're going to do that. And give it to Aloth, but the Rod of Wind and Thunder is just better. quite a bit of damage.
Hey,
Bit of a sad quest, huh? Yeah, we're just on.
shh.
But hey, you do what you can. Kana's quest was to find the tablets, and here we found it, deep in level 7 of 15, so there's still quite a lot longer to go. Prism. I think we have the fire prism, we can put it in now. Then we'll rest, save, and try this hard fight. Okay? That's all of them, as far as we know. Slam Shadows. You weakness endurance. Actually, Grammaphil, the Wayfarer, tried to escape. Lol. Stop their guards. Rest, save, and then try this hard fight that killed us before. Flame Shadows. You weakness endurance to staff held in both his hands before him. A flame flickers at its top end, casting long shadows across his face as he stares in contemplation. Still, for the light of the fire, your eyes can't focus on him. Perhaps it is awakening from sleep or a trick of the light, but he seems indistinct, blurred around the edges, everything except for the staff. The staff. He seems to be studying its engravings. As you watch, the engravings glow thinly red, like through the cracks of heats of fused wood. The lines stream like molten metal, burning along the edges of his staff, then branch out in an intricate series of fiery veins, bunting thickly where his hand clutch the wood, pulsing as if a heartbeat. As you watch, the veins spiral into a dozen separate circles that spiral again until they are arranged in a circle of their own. They pulse, wait, and all is strangely silent. And then suddenly there is a great light from the fire, a rushing of air, a great flash, and you awaken again to see Durance in the same place, still holding his staff, but he is solid, real. He doesn't seem to have noticed you or reacted to what occurred. Discuss your vision, Durance. We will, after a fight, my good man. Grammaphil the Wayfarer attempted to escape, but was thwarted by your guards. Lol, 28 security, good luck. We will talk to Durance soon, don't worry. I just want to do this fight. You know? What if he says something dramatic and we don't feel like punching anyone?
Quickly and quietly.
Okay. Beware, traveler. Greater souls than yours walk here. Yes, Captain. You are a great soul, Captain. I'm gonna cast Confusion when they're closer. In the meantime, Fireball's very funny to open a fight with. No, not quite right.
Yes?
To get enough of these off at once.
Thank word that.
I want you to try and charm the Adrigan.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Fuse didn't work. That's a shame. You've got immunity to daze and confuse. Please pull that off. Quickly.
Lava, be on seek.
Okay, we're now immune to it. We should be
Be
alright.
on.
Oh, the charm worked on the Adrigan. And Luxie, wow, exactly. Captain has turned up. The game understander has logged on, and Captain will make sure we survive this fight. The Adrigan being on our side is essentially going to make this fight go super. Oh boy, someone spoke too soon. Quick, knock it down. Durance, didn't I tell you to make us all immune to... Oh, he's dominated, not even confused. Okay, lol. That's why. Hobbled, stuck, paralyzed, petrified, not enough. Just paralyze him, maybe he'll go down a little bit. Maybe we can dominate. Immune to dominate. Okay, it's not gonna work. Not immune to dominate!
This thing isn't doing the job. Leave it to me! Lavaru, be on seat!
Oh, she's petrified for 15 seconds. Alright, well.
That's not what I...
Captain.
Biscuits again.
He is gonna try and steal your biscuits, but that's very Captain.
I meant by trying.
Let's go!
Quefe. Silmis.
Last night, Captain made a very good, a very effective attempt at stealing biscuits. And he's yelling primarily for food. And like, he will steal my leftover dinner. As soon as he gets an opportunity.
Of course.
Ah, we did it! We survived the fight, everybody. You should all be very proud of yourselves. For making that happen. We got through.
Hey.
Very tough. Good job. Look at those prisoners. Container. Fine breastplate and a weird hat. Broken thing. We've already unlocked it. So, forward we go. Down to level 8. You are glad to hear it, Golden King. The game is even telling us, hey, talk to your companions. Like, I will, I swear. It auto-saves when we walk in. You know. Nothing wrong with making sure. Hey, Durance. Your face is full of need. No. Your face is full of need. Looks to burst if you didn't speak. Alright. I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I saw something strange. You were sitting by the fire and I saw a great light from your stuff.
Tell me what you saw.
Durance is silent, staring at you, locking gazes. It was a flash like an explosion, a rushing of air, incredibly bright.
It is the light of the Godhammer you saw.
Durance takes in each word. He's strangely silent for a moment, and when he speaks, his voice is low. The Godhammer?
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, a symbol of their independence. It saved the Deerwood.
What do you know about it?
It brought the Saints' War to an end, knocked a god from his perch. There are few that would deny Aothis overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Aothis of it.
Durance's voice remains low, steady, as if repeating his said many times before, either out loud or to himself. Durance's face becomes stone.
You saw its light because I helped shape it, give it life, and release it into the world.
Durance swallows, nods.
Its glory is almost too bright to be believed, and too bright to be forgotten.
Durance helped build the Godhammer, the bomb that killed Aothis. You helped build the Godhammer?
There were 12 of us.
Durance
We fashioned the weapon, drafted plans for it, prayed for guidance at Ashfall, and it came to me there. Each of us were given a staff made from the forest of black trees around us, glowing with embers and fire far greater than this branch you see now. It felt as if the staff was Margaren's own finger, guiding my hand, guiding the other 11, the shadows of the 12 who would come to stand on the bridge to stop Aothis.
For those who've been with us for a while, it's normally bigger than this. Moxie. Funny though. Those who've been listening for a while, and like whether in the VODs, hey VODs, or live, you know that there were 12 people that stood on the bridge for the Godhammer. Shadows of the 12?
Even in that stand, there was a ritual to it. For the 12 that stood on the bridge, there were a dozen shadows cast, a dozen faithful of Margaren, her fiercest supporters and shapers of the Godhammer.
Durance rests the staff in front of him. The flame atop it curls for a moment, the light flaring slightly. It splits into a ring of flames, one after the other, until a dozen is not.
As 12 held Aethys fast, we 12 unleashed our prayers and let the God Hammer fall.
And then it blossoms brightly, once. It resumes its pale intensity. In the aftermath, the shadows seem sharper in the vicinity, as if they had edges, and you blink to clear your vision. Durance is still staring at the tiny, candle-like flame, intently.
Shadows cast by the fire of the God Hammer, perhaps. We share their fate as well in time. Now the spine of the Deerwood is marked by the God Hammer, marked by Magrin.
The flame suddenly winks out, smokeless. Durance frowns and moves his gaze from the staff. What do you mean, shared their fates?
Not all deaths come with stilled breath and stilled heart, or other stilled passions beneath the waste. Some deaths come from silence.
Durance grunts, adjusts the cord of his robe. Gross, Durance. Not many can claim to have killed a god. It is a less heroic tale than you would think, and such a death, it clinched our faith. All fades, I expect. Durance returns his gaze to the dead tip of the staff. Doubt followed, and the world changed. I do not believe Magrin was pleased by what we had done. Why is that?
The world is broken, the wheel stilled. There is sickness in the world's heart, perhaps the price of crossing a god. Crossing two gods. Even as Magrin shaped our hands, perhaps we carried her will farther than was allowed. Just as Widewind did. Saint Widewind. Mortal arrogance to match mortal arrogance.
He grunts. He pauses, staring at the staff. Durance spits.
Yet if the world had changed, then I sought to change with it. If I had forgotten some of Magrin's teachings, I would find them again. I would make her see me again.
What did you do?
I remembered Magrin's teachings. How reminders on the flesh were more important than the death of a vessel. And I wondered if killing Aethys, if that had simply set him free. Had it allowed him to escape his punishment and be taken on the wheel? Like a mortal?
Durance frowns. Durance's voice takes an odd upturn. Once it feels like he's genuinely asking a question. Like a mortal. He shakes his head.
As I stepped from the now blessed Godhammer Bridge, I thought of Ashfall. I thought of the War of Black Trees, wondered if I needed to be burned to find myself again. That is Magrin at her heart. At least that is my hope. These are the doubts that befall me.
What happened when you returned to Ashfall?
The road to Ashfall is long, gives one time to think, and if you think long enough, you do not go home. I left without telling anyone, with only the robes I wore at Halgot, my staff, and my name, which is long buried.
His hand tightens on his staff.
Of my fellow 11 craftsmen, disciples, I know not what happened to them, if they suffered the same doubt as I did. But it was underserved. It was wrong. We had done all that Or had asked. Grab victory from defeat and...
You feel as if your god has betrayed you.
There is something about being used and cast aside. Perhaps Widewind himself felt it. There at the end, when the hammer struck. To be the proof that your god is hollow as the vessel it inhabits.
Durance's eyes narrow, as if focusing on some inner thought. This is a key part of Durance's arc as well. And as Comrade said, and as many of the chat and commenters have said, Durance is a bad guy. But he does have a great arc, and this is part of it. like many men, like many people, but it happens a lot too. Like, I'm thinking incels. He's accusing people, accusing his god of the same thing he's fearing he is. Something about being used and cast aside. That's how he treats.
I tried to find purpose and avoided all contact with other Magranic priests, did not seek the walls of Ashfall, and sought to make amends to my god through actions. I joined with the Purges for a time.
Dude.
And not long after came the first signs of the Hollowborn. So many crimes, trespasses, violations. The Salvation. Animancers were another sickness born of the Saints' War. A relapse of innovation, of desperation to heal what we had caused. All seemed worse than before the bridge, not better. And as years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory.
We'll be back in a moment, everyone. Just 30 seconds. We're back. Marvel just needed a drink, and yeah, there are more options. I'll give them all to you now. Marvel needed a drink, and Emma's healing a dungeon, so I'll take care of it. So yeah, Deadman's voted, but we haven't seen everyone yet. As the years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory. 5 options? I'd love for you to choose one of them, chat. So, 1, maybe the purges weren't what Margaret wanted either. And 2, I can see why you call your goddess a whore. She deals with you and you're still pine for her. It's clever. It's a little. It's raising the point that, like, he feels bad for it. You know? And you keep calling her this. You committed atrocities and your goddess has shut you out for it. Exactly what you deserve. It doesn't sound like your goddess will ever forgive you. Honest. 5. It would seem that Magrin's silence is your trial. What about 3? What about 5? What about 4? Luxy. You're going with 1. Joining in a shooting language. Yeah, same, right? But even then, he says, now I can see why you call your goddess a whore. He deals with you and you still pine for her. Is very much like. It's very much. I see why you're doing it, right? You see this because you're the one who's fighting for her. You're the one that messed up. But it's repeating his language. Repeating his language to make him feel worse. And look, he deserves it. Deserves to feel worse, maybe a little. No. That's fair. Yeah, 2 votes for 4, so I'm going to do that. It doesn't sound like a goddess will ever forgive you, Darren. Sweat collects in sooty creases of his forehead and runs down his ruddy cheeks. It drips from the tip of his nose. His mouth moves, but his utterances make no sound. He is, for once, at a loss. Feeling a gaze, he quickly composes himself, wiping his forehead with the back of a dirty hand.
Huh? Worship the whims of some fickle bitch, and you'll never be more than dirt beneath her feet. Worship what she worships, on the other hand. Take her fire for your own, and her esteem comes on its own. Of course, by that time you no longer need it. Trial and transformation, sure as Durance taught.
His voice is choppy, hurried. You were so close, Durance. You were so close to figuring it out. Durance glares at you. Staring into his eyes gives you the feeling of peering over the edge of a great cliff.
You think to put the coals to my feet, but what's burned once will never burn again. These talks are your trial, Watcher. You cannot deflect the truth to one who has already been purified by it.
Okay, Durance. Okay. Tell me what happened on the bridge. We chose the bridge because we could control it. Durance's hands tightened on the tip of the staff as if he were holding it by the neck. It was a place where we could choke Aethys in his own footsteps, where we knew his feet would fall, and narrow neck of stone. But it was more than that. It was the spine of the deerwood, symbolic of its backbone. Such symbols are important in the construction of a weapon. Durance studies his staff, his eyes traveling along the etchings. Any weapon. Durance's face hardens and his eyes burn, his eyebrows narrowing. I suspect Aethys knew that well. So did his vessel, in its arrogance. His hand tightens on the staff. He intended to walk upon the bridge as if walking on the backs of the deer would, and we intended to burn him with the light of our faith and his. 12 on the bridge, 12 in the shadow, and gave ourselves to it. Gave yourselves to it?
We put much of ourselves into the Godhammer. Such a device is not simply a machine. There are elements of the spirit in it. Even Widewind's spirit.
Durance frowns. Widewind? Why? Remember, Widewind was the farmer that Aethys possessed.
We all studied Widewind. He was our enemy, and he had provided the flesh the god wore as a cloak. That flesh made him vulnerable. I knew what fields his hands had tilled, his family, what he had harvested, where he had been born. We sought to know him, what had led him to fight us.
There I go, describing who Widewind is in Durance of the Forest. This is fascinating too. Like, this proves the Godhammer isn't a weapon you use on anyone, it needs to be perfectly targeted.
You don't kill the god. You kill the man it inhabits. And you leave that man a ruin. Burn him to ash. The weapon was meant to not only burn his flesh, but it would burn his soul. And it did. At the cost of our own. And at the cost of our goddess's favor. That whore be damned.
Durance. It sounds as if you fell victim to your own weapon.
Perhaps your eyes were blinded by the truth of the Godhammer, Watcher. I feel half a man at times, but even that is twice that of most others.
Durance frowns, glances at you with a sharp look. He snorts.
If you fear for my spirit, your fears are baseless. The Godhammer, seeing its light, only fueled my anger and made me stronger, made me re-examine the teachings of Margren, put them in a new light.
Durance shakes his head, but there's tension to it, and he's flushing red. It looked as if there was only part of you, as if your spirit had been sheared in half.
I do not need you to cast any more questions on me, Watcher. Nor did I ask you to look upon me without my leave. Get gone, and leave me be.
Durance snarls, his face a feverish red. Okay. Alright, Durance. We've discovered quite a lot about you in this time.
See and not be seen.
Unsurprisingly, so much of it is unpleasant.
I'll see what I can find.
Boop. But we sure showed him. Make him cranky. Oh yeah. Kind of deserved it. This one, difficulty 9.
I'll see what I can do.
We've got a lot of lockpicks, so let's give it a try. There's an enemy up there. Failed to disarm the trap. I think
I'll have
we're
it
a
in
bit
no time.
beyond our level at this
The
point.
work of a moment.
Vampire? About to start combat, let's go.
Lavaru beyond seek!
Kana just got charmed, I think. Vampire's charm, Grace's Kana, charmed in 5 seconds. At least it wasn't a full effect. See if we can stun him for that duration. Well, days. The there took some pretty heavy hits there as well. So
Lava
let's reiterate my position that we may be a little bit even over our head.
Mow it. Gotcha.
Alos doing his very Alos best. Okay.
Got it.
Proactive.
Stop him from going down. Durance, pull out another heal for Alos. Let's go.
Mow it. Ixi Ana.
Here we go.
Your thoughts?
Vampire down.
Lava.
That's it.
Lava beyond.
There we go. Whew. 10, that's for sure. Deal wooden clothing.
All right then.
My eyes are peeled.
This is a big map too. Another vampire.
Quefe.
Slam shadows
Sealness.
come.
Me too.
Pull out a fireball at us. Come on. Nice.
I have them.
Is he squishy? Oh, he's a wizard. Traditionally, they need to be squishy.
What?
He's on 12, which is his maximum right now. So I think we're gonna leave and rest after this.
Lavaru beyond sea.
Because this is beyond us. They're too deadly. It will be a slog to push through. And there are other things we can do. We can always come back.
Proactive.
Oh, Carter just yells, Alos, get up. Miss him too, buddy. But I think we'll be okay. Swords, of course. It's just, it's honestly that they're doing, the enemy's doing really well at instantly targeting him with all their ranged attacks. So they just do smack him, and he's squishy, so he goes down fast. And the way around it would be to open with his guns, yeah, guns, arrows.
What?
Plus, Flame Shadow immediately got charmed at the beginning of
My
that.
mind feels sharp as steel.
4 phrases. Immunity to frightened and terrified, restore endurance. I think we're okay. Let's get some Will of the Wisps.
Quit.
Deal with Vampire. Whew. Okay. We're going to finish combat, loot, and get the hell out of here. Poor Alos is maimed, and he will die if he goes down again. Ooh, what's this? Bone pile, a pearl, and some gold.
Of course.
Let's get out of here. Woo! 10th explorations, good fun. And now that we've got Durance in the party for a little bit, there's actually another quest I'd like to do. Although it is 14 minutes till we finish tonight's stream. Okay, what's going? Shh. We'll go up, and there's a place called Searing Falls, where we are on a quest from the Magran Worshipper in Defiance Bay. We might as well go there to ask a question. They're having a crisis of faith, and we want Durance to be there to like talk to her about face of Magrid. So as we've just learned, he believes his Magrid tossed him aside. That's one of his fears. So we're like, hey, do you think this happens? He goes, no, that's definitely not it. Don't, no. Lol. Right? We'll take a stop at the scenic pool of blood. Limbs and organs bob in this mire of blood and gristle. The carnage stirs with the occasional gust of wind from the tunnel above. And corpse stretched over the edge of the pool is contorted in the throes of what must have been his final agony. Rotting skeletal hands still clutch towards his throat. Up to the master staircase. I think that was a master staircase, or was that just up one level? That was up one level. Whoops. When we're first exploring the endless parts, I always wonder if we're like about to find another pit to leap in, presumably to our doom, which would be hilarious. We also haven't reached the next layer of the master staircase, which is a shame because like 5 to 7, got nothing. Maybe we would have found one. We kept going. 2 hours as well, because it's considered fast travel. You just run up, and I don't think you'd lose as much time. Time doesn't matter that much. The only few times is when they're like, there are people coming to attack you, which we will manually deal with in a moment. What is this? Leaden Key Assassin. Oh. Well, Aleph on 1 hit point again. So who's going to guess how this will turn out? Yeah, oh dear is exactly right, Loxy. Well, there. A robed man stands in the doorway, his gaze moving between you and Caed Nua. Oh, not this again. Now, of all times? Caed gnashes his teeth together, his face darkening with fury. Another robed figure, a woman, looks at you. So, this is the Watcher. You've made this very convenient, running the ground in the same place. Aloth's eyes burn as he reaches for his wand. Careful. Our hunting parties have joined, and we have the advantage of numbers. Keep this easy in yourself and surrender. We'll end it quickly. How did you get in here? We seek the company of shadows, that our labors may remain secret. The man smiles again. Kill them all. Behind the corner, please. Mind Dreader hits him for 21 pierce damage. He dies. We're not letting him die like that. In fact, wrecked. Classic Aloth. Work out. Aloth will run around the corner. Thanks. Glad you had your best. Let's use our last camping supplies right here. Right there. You know where they are. They're just behind the wall. It's fine. Just right there. Bright Hollow Hearth construction completed. Lovely. Thank you. Fair the pool. Cat. Just take a nap.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Now they're going to get wrecked. Because... Right? Hold there. You're a little late. The tablet we were looking for is rubble. That's what they wanted. They would have smashed it themselves. Kind of pulls himself up to his full height. Come on then. You failed the other 4 times. Let's make it 5. The red man makes a sharp gesture to his throat. Kill them. Keep the Aether close to hand. I don't want their souls drifting free of this place. Ooh. Days. Mikana, let's get some revenge, huh? Where's your gun, buddy? Okay. Like Chanter with a gun? Why? Because it's funny, buddy. We love it. Terrify them with knowledge of the wheel, slam shadows.
Word.
Sunburst from lots of damage around them. The trap, but they're already standing there.
Shed no blood.
Yeah, they're not very good at this, and they would not have survived. We just want to keep Aloth alive, obviously. So. Reloaded.
That's it.
Queth. Sealness. Me too.
Tentacles left the party? I'm sad. Kana looks over the bodies, shaking his head. What a waste. He turns to you. I don't see why they bothered. What harm could a broken tablet do? Or any artifact? Not even grandfather's. How long do you think they were stuck waiting up here? A good long while, I hope. Well, I mean, we rested for 8 hours, so yeah. I don't think they were here for the tablet. Kana nods. I think you're right. They never asked us for what we found. It seems to be the ruins themselves that take issue with us exploring. Enough to hound me across Aedir, Ixmitil, and Deerwood. Let's put them down for a change. It's only fair. Kana grins toothily. It seems the leaden key holds what answers are left to us. If I cannot bring Rautai a promise of peace, at least I'll have something to show for my travels. And that closes the loop on why he still sticks around with you once he has what he needs. It's smooth, it's gentle, it's really good writing in a way that makes it exactly clear why he would stick around. Right. Not a bad thing. You can take that opportunity to throw a little bit more character work in, like, not only, hey, Kana, why are you sticking around, but, like, do you want to get revenge? Are you the type of person to take
Stones
that
and the
out?
spirits in this place have begun to heal.
Yes, greedy mother. What a nice adventure into little dungeon beneath our home. Meow, Captain. Yes, Captain. Good boy. He's a good lad, Kitty.
It seems your fame is spreading. I have heard travelers speaking of your accomplishments in Defiance Bay.
Thank you, Stuart. What is this stick to the keep? People are starting to notice your hard work. I dare say we'll have more visitors shortly. I'm glad you've decided to stay on, my lord. It's been difficult watching this place tumble into decay time and again. To see it restored is, I can imagine the great crowds, the petitioners, music, perhaps in the evenings. Oh, I've gotten away, haven't I? I've gotten carried away, haven't I? Here's the report. Okay, well... There it is. Let's, manually resolve this attack. Deal with the Dominel thugs, huh? Jinjedo and Pepito, your kitties are chatty and zoomy. But did they vote 3 or 4?
Sealness. Me too.
Oh, our mercenaries just kicked straight into action. It's funny, the Dominels still have people to send to us, even though... They still have people to send to us to cause mischief, even though we well and truly dealt with them, right? I'm not gonna come out of this well, buddy. Queenie, also the cat, right? 3 cats, 3 extra follows, hell yeah. Some terminal thugs? Well, like, I'm glad we're here to deal with it, but really not very effective, huh? Here, we can pick up those morning gloves. Morning gloves.
Good day to you.
That's fetching a tove. Should use the heal. Yeah, okay. I'll take a look at your waist. We got a lot of stuff we just looted we're gonna sell, so. All of these books. In addition to all of these weapons. So clumsy. Sloppy. See what I mean about, like, only taking keeping your magical or fancy versions of gear, because you start just picking up all sorts of good stuff anyway. You don't need it. I have to do like a whole loop and see if everyone's equipped to an effective and important way soonish, but not a thing for tonight. I'm afraid. I can't sell Kana's hat. Even if he doesn't wear it all the time, it's still his hat. But the idea that we have a merchant in our place, right? And we're like, yeah, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. You can get this lord. He'll buy all the stuff you need. Primarily, what he's going to buy, what he's going to do, is sell you a whole bunch of crap, and it's going to be your job to give him money for it. He can, of course, you can go and sell things yourself. That's how merchantry works, but still, it's a lot of work.
Stones and the spirits in this place have
It's
begun
more
to
of a
feed.
sense. I mean, yeah, they're taken from dead people, aren't they? Let's see my mouse misbehaving. Look at that! We restored that. Beautiful well. And take a look over here. Look at our beautiful hedge maze has been restored as well. As lords of the keep, it's our job to take care of it. That's also why we started restoring Bright Hollow. Those last upgrades at the bottom that do nothing except make it look pretty. Well, there. The storeroom. Rich, savory stew bubbles over the hearth. In a tabletop role-playing game, like, if your players get a castle or a house, especially a house, use something like The Sims to build a model. It's just so cute. Love it. And we are a couple of minutes early, but honestly, I think we should rest and take the opportunity to call it for the night. Rest with training cards bonus. Save game. The math starts behaving again. I like my hedge bees too. We're currently repairing the fountain. Oh no, we actually lost a hireling. We barely had a shot page. Sounds awesome. Forgot I was doing that. And...
Safe travels.
Time is busy. Guess we'll take Hero VS again for a bit. Especially where I think we're going next. Currently building. 16 hours until the pool's back. And then we'll restore the lab and Bright Hollow will be back to normal. That's just fun, right? Much converse. Beautiful. Well, thanks very much for playing, everybody. Joining in, having a good time over there, doing some exploration. A little bit more low-key, but we learned some cool things about Grieving Mother Endurance, some of the more mysterious companions we have. We'll follow it up with a quick adventure to go discover... And Kana, we finished Kana's class quest. Class quest? That's very Final Fantasy 14. We finished Kana's companion quest, which is very cool indeed. Good, mark him off. I'll join him again. I think he'll be a good companion for whenever we're exploring the endless depths. And thank you very much for tuning in, people in the VOD. And thank you very much for joining us here, everyone in chat. I'll see you again next week for more, okay? Remember to tell your friends and tell everyone on Twitter that they can check out and watch everything except episode 9 of the adventure. Just tell them it's side quest. It's fine, okay? We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.